Amara hadn't spoken a single word since birth. 22 years of perfect silence. Her beauty was legendary. Men came from distant kingdoms just to see her. But when they learned she was mute, they left. What good is a wife who can't talk, they'd say. How will she call for help? Teach children. Gossip at the market. Amara's father, Chief Obi, was desperate. I give half my wealth to any man who marries her, he declared at the village's square, yet no one came. Amara learned to speak in other ways, through dance, through her eyes, through the beautiful cloth she wove with patterns that told stories. But no one took time to learn her language. One day, a traveling musician named Dubem arrived in Saka. He was born blind, had never seen a sunset, a face, or color. But his music could make stones weep. He performed in the village square, his fingers dancing across his wooden flute, creating melodies that painted pictures in sound. Amara stood in the crowd, transfixed. His music spoke to her. It was communication without words, beauty without sight. It was everything she felt inside but couldn't say. After his performance, she approached him. She couldn't call his name, so she did something bold. She took his hand and placed it on her throat so he could feel that she made no sound. Dubem understood immediately. You can't speak. She squeezed his hand once. Yes. And I can't see. Perhaps we're the two halves of one whole person. He smiled. What's your name? She took his finger and traced letters on his palm. Amara. Amara. Beautiful name. Can you hear my music? She squeezed his hand excitedly. Yes, yes, yes. Then I'll play for you every day. From that day, something magical happened. Dubem would play, and Amara would dance. He couldn't see her movements, but he could hear the swish of her wrapper, the rhythm of her feet, the way the air moved around her dancing body. He composed music based on those sounds. She danced stories that his music described. They created art together, two incomplete people making something complete. The village watched in wonder. Chief Obi watched in hope. After 3 months, Dubem did something unexpected. He asked Chief Obi for Amara's hand in marriage. You want to marry a woman you've never seen? Who can't speak to you? Chief, I've never seen anyone. And Amara speaks to me more clearly than anyone I've ever met. Through her dance, her touch, her presence, I understand her completely. Amara's heart soared in joy. But Chief Obi's conniving brother, Okonkwo, was furious. He'd been planning to inherit the chief's wealth when Amara inevitably remained unmarried. A wedding would ruin everything. You can't let a blind beggar marry her. Okonkwo protested. He's not a beggar. He's a musician. Same thing. Besides, how do we know he truly loves her? Maybe he just wants your wealth. Chief Obi frowned. The seed of doubt was planted. Very well, the chief announced. Dubem, you must pass 3 tests to prove your love is true. You have 7 days. Amara tried to protest through frantic gestures, but Okonkwo smiled wickedly. He designed these tests knowing they would break even the strongest man. Test 1. Identify Amara among 100 women without touching or hearing them speak. At dawn, 100 women stood in the village square, all wearing identical indigo wrappers, all silent as stones, all perfectly still. Find your bride, Chief Obi commanded. The crowd whispered like wind through grass. How could a blind man identify anyone by sight alone? But Dubem showed no fear. He pulled out his flute and began to play, the melody he'd composed for Amara, the song of their first dance together beneath the moon. He walked slowly past each woman, his music floating through the morning air. 99 women stood like statues. But one, just one, could not help herself. Her foot began to tap. Then her hips swayed, gentle as a palm frond in the breeze. The music lived in her bones. Dubem stopped before her. Amara. The crowd erupted in joyful amazement. He'd done it. Okonkwo's face darkened like storm clouds. A lucky guess. The second test will tell the truth. The second test, Okonkwo announced with barely concealed glee, is to climb Thunder Peak and bring back an egg from the crown eagle's nest. Unbroken. The villagers gasped. Thunder Peak was a 3-day climb, treacherous even for the sighted. And the crown eagle was known to attack anyone who came near her nest, sighted or not. But what Okonkwo didn't know was this: Dubem had once saved the young eagle who'd fallen from the sky with an injured wing. He'd nursed it for 2 full moons before it could fly again, and in return she blessed him with the ability to speak with animals. Dubem made the climb, guided by the sounds of wind on stone, by the feel of sun-warmed rock, by the calls of birds who, recognizing him, sang warnings of loose stones and safe paths. On the 3rd day, he reached the nest. The crown eagle dove at him, talons extended, her scream splitting the sky. "Mother eagle," Dubem called in her language. "Do you not remember me?" The eagle stopped mid-dive, hovering. "The here. The one who saved my daughter." "The same." She landed beside him, her fierce eyes softening. "Why do you climb to my nest, friend of eagles?" "I need 1 egg to prove my love to the humans below. I will take only 1, and I will return next season with 3 fat fish as payment." The eagle considered this. In the old days, humans and animals had made such bargains all the time. "Why not now? Take the smallest egg," she said. "That one will not hatch, there is no life in it. But the shell is perfect. Your humans need not know." Dubem descended with the egg cradled carefully in a pouch of soft leather. When he presented it to Okonkwo, the whole village marveled. Even Okonkwo was running out of cruel ideas. The village erupted in celebration. Amara wept with relief and joy. But Okonkwo had prepared one final test, the cruelest of all. Test 3, make Amara speak 1 word before the wedding ceremony. If she remains silent, the marriage will not hold. The crowd gasped. Impossible. Amara had been mute for 22 years. Even her parents had never heard her voice. "This is too much." Chief Obi protested. "You said 3 tests," Okonkwo smiled coldly. "This is the 3rd. Or does the musician admit defeat?" Dubem stood silent, then nodded. "I accept." Amara's eyes filled with tears. She grabbed his hands desperately. She couldn't speak, she tried her whole life. Dubem simply held her. "I know you can't speak, Amara. I've always known. And I've never needed you to." "Then you'll give up the marriage?" Okonkwo pressed. "No." Dubem smiled. "I said I'd make her speak. I never said when." The wedding day arrived. The entire village gathered under the ancient palm trees. Okonkwo stood smugly. Amara still hadn't spoken. "The test has failed," he announced. "The marriage cannot." "The day isn't over," Dubem interrupted. "I have until sunset. Let the ceremony begin." As the traditional rite started, Dubem lifted his flute and began to play a song he'd composed in secret, Amara's entire life told in music. The loneliness of her childhood, the mockery of cruel suitors. Her father's quiet desperation, heavy, pleading tones that brought tears to Chief Obi's eyes. Then the melody shifted, the moment she first heard Dubem's music. The notes became light, hopeful, like sunrise through storm clouds. Their months together, harmonious, joyful. 2 souls dancing as one. Finally, the melody became a question, a rising scale that hung in the air. "Will you be mine forever?" Tears streamed down Amara's face. He'd shown everyone what he saw, not a broken girl, but a complete, beautiful woman. And then, something miraculous happened. Amara opened her mouth, and a single note, pure as morning water, rose from her throat for the first time in 22 years. She sang her reply, "Yes. Yes. Yes." The village erupted, people weeping, shouting, dancing. She spoke, someone cried. No, Dubem said gently. She sang. Words aren't the only way to speak. Chief Obi embraced them both. The test is passed. The ancestors have blessed this union. But then something even more extraordinary occurred. The sky darkened, not with storm clouds, but with birds. Thousands of them descended in a great spiral above the gathering. From the center stepped a figure wrapped in robes that shimmered like feathers in sunlight. Nnenna the Eternal, the old priestess whispered. The spirit of true understanding. She comes only once every 100 years. The spirit's voice was like wind through leaves. I have watched this test from the realm beyond sight. I heard from the birds who carry all news, a blind man who sees with his heart, a mute woman who speaks with her soul, and tests designed by cruelty but answered by love. She turned to them. You proved that love requires no perfect bodies, only perfect understanding. Nnenna raised her hands. You loved each other when the world said you were incomplete. Now, because you never needed these gifts to love truly, I give them to you freely. She touched Amara's throat. Speak, daughter of silence. She touched Dubem's eyes. See, son of darkness. Light burst forth, golden and warm. Dubem blinked and saw colors, shapes, faces, and Amara, standing before him. Amara, he whispered. She was more beautiful than any melody he'd imagined. Amara spoke her first words in 22 years, Dubem. My Dubem. They fell into each other's arms, weeping and laughing at once. The village erupted in joy. People danced, drummed, shouted praises. Gifts poured forth, yams, palm wine, woven cloth. Chief Obi removed his coral beads and placed them around Dubem's neck. True worth is not perfection, but perfect love. But one man stood apart. Okonkwo watched the joy and blessings, his head bowed in shame. He had tried to destroy what the spirits honored. Without a word, he turned and walked away toward his abandoned farm. Dubem saw him leaving. Amara whispered, let him go. Some lessons can only be learned in solitude. Nnenna smiled, already fading. May your story be told for generations, a reminder that the spirits honor those who love beyond what the world calls worthy. She dissolved into 1,000 wings that scattered across the sky. The moral. True love sees the whole person, not the parts the world calls valuable.